Joel Osteen, one of the most famous best-selling megachurch pastors in the world. And by pastor, I really mean ear-tickling motivational speaker. Look, I am not a guy who just watched a couple of videos that were critiquing Joel Osteen and now regurgitates it. I read 2 books by Joel Osteen and been listening to over 20 hours in total of his sermons. And I don't use this word loosely, but I can't emphasize strong enough how heretical this teaching is. And that he's a great, smiley, likable motivator doesn't matter when you are distorting the gospel as a part of it. Now, I've already made a whole series addressing 5 major problems with this kind of prosperity gospel word of faith theology that Joel Osteen is promoting. So I will not go into depth into that here in this video, but I will, however, leave the link for that playlist in the description box below, and I do recommend checking it out. So then, let's go to the actual topic of this video and take a look at his bestseller book, The Power of I Am. Joel Osteen believes in a Christianized version of the law of attraction, which is rooted in New Age, and you'll find this kind of teaching in both his writings and his sermons. There is so much that could have been said about this book and doctrine, but let me just address 2 major problems with this book. If you want to see more, check out my video links in the description box below, and that series I just mentioned. Problem 1. Now let's look at some quotes from the book. The good news is, you get to choose what follows the I am. And wait for it, whatever follows the I am will eventually find you. Now isn't that nice? Question, Mr. Osteen. Where does the Bible teach that we can take Yahweh's holy name, I am, and start to declare and decree of our choice health and wealth and positive and good things, and that it will eventually find us? And yes, he is talking and referring to this life, here and now on earth. He has even written a book called Your Best Life Now. And guess who has 2 thumbs and has read that book as well? I just have to ask, since when did God become our own cosmic Candyman and genie? Since when did the focus switch to man and our own fleshly desires instead of the holy God, creator and sustainer of the entire universe? This book and teaching sets people up for major disappointment with God, for something he never promised them. And this kind of teaching is causing a lot of damage to the Christian faith, both externally and internally. This book and this Christianity is primarily limited to the Western world, due to the fact that more than half of the world's population are being born into a life here on earth that will never give access to the health, wealth, and all the positive and good things that Joel's Christianized New Age law of attraction book is teaching. So right off the bat, this kind of Christianity is not even applicable for more than half of the world's population. And that should really set some alarm bells off. Problem 2. Here are more quotes from the book, The Power of I Am. Negative thoughts comes to us all, but when you speak them out loud, you give them life. That's when they become a reality. So, Joel, Mr. Osteen, tell that to the 260 million Christians who endured severe persecution in 2020, which is, by the way, something that Jesus warned his followers will happen. The Bible is full of his quotes saying this. The apostles are writing the same, and history up until this day is proving it. But yeah, Joel, Mr. Osteen, tell the 260 million Christians who endured severe persecution in 2020, who expressed themselves beyond negative thoughts, and expressed themselves with loud negative words, as their churches and homes burned, as they were put in prison for their faith, as they were being raped, as they were being tortured, as they were being killed by the thousands, because they refused to renounce their Christian faith. Tell them that they had this coming when expressing negative thoughts with loud words. Tell them that the next time their home is burning, the daughter is being raped, the husband is being killed because of being Christians, that they should keep their mouth shut before, during, and after such events are happening to them or around them, because or else their negative words will become a reality. Do you guys now see why people believing this doctrine and are following Joel Osteen and others like him, when you genuinely ask them, "So how are you? How is everything going?" And they always answer something like, "Perfect, I'm blessed and highly favored, I'm the head and not the tail, I'm the victor and not the victim." When what they often should have been saying instead is, "Not good, I am struggling, I'm very depressed, my marriage is having a hard time." You get the picture. This book, this teaching, is ultimately creating a bunch of phonies and more who are not being honest with themselves and others about real life problems in this fallen world that should be expressed with actual loud words and dealt with in a church or a Christian community, and with professionals, psychologists and counselors. The church, Christians, are a family. When one is suffering, we are all suffering as the body of Christ. And we are commanded to pray, to support, and to help each other as best as we can. So hiding behind all this positive "I am," declare and decree will not get you there. And that's an anti-Christian way of life.